Swazdula. This is Cephalon Greg from Cephalon Squared, and welcome to our weekly news update, Week in Warframe. As we head into the spring holidays, or autumn, depending on where in the world you are, there was still plenty of news to cover. Next week, of course, may be a little on the quiet side, though. Before we get into the news, we have some news of our own. Cephalon Squared is now an official Warframe fan site. So get on over to cephalonsquared.com and see what all the fuss is about. On to the Warframe news. First up, with TennoCon just a couple of short months out, Digital Extremes has released a guide to the local airport for those of you lucky enough to be travelling there later this year. I've shared a link in the notes below this video, so check them out if you're one of the lucky few. Sadly, we're not able to attend this year, but hopefully we'll be there for 2020. Next, D put an update on the forums outlining some changes coming to the Wolf of Saturn 6, in particular to his spawn rate. It's now been increased to 4% chance for most missions, with missions of enemy level 20 and above having a 6% chance. Keep in mind though that he does not spawn on open worlds, so don't expect him to surprise you on the plains or in the Valis. Last week we mentioned that the Plains of Eidolon remaster update was in cert, and this week, of course, it hit all platforms. I've tried it on both the PS4 and the Switch, and it's fantastic on both of those. In fact, Switch loading times seem to have been improved dramatically. Speaking of PS4, there is currently a Platinum sale on the PlayStation Store, with discounts up to 40%, so if you've been thinking about grabbing some Platinum, now's the time, as it's unlikely to be back for another 6 months or so, at least based on our experience. Quietly within the week, DE also posted in the forums about some changes coming to arbitrations. The primary change, which will hit PC next week, is that when players go down in arbitrations, there'll still be no bleed out timer, but there will be a chance to revive them by way of revive stations like the one pictured. Living players gather enough resurgent burden, which will drop from arbitration drones, and you can revive your fallen colleague. Understandably, this has divided the fan base. And lastly, it's holiday time, as you'd probably noticed by now, and whether you care about Easter or not, I'm sure you know about bunnies and such, and so does DE. With a new Spring Step ephemera and some bunny ears on offer, you'll definitely look the part. And even better, there's a free colour picker as well, which I must add looks pretty awesome on metallics, FYI. The video in the background will show you how to get them for yourself, but TLDR, they're all in the market for credits, and you can pop them on using your arsenal. So get out there and give them a shot. Plus, there's some weapon skin alerts as well for all you Tenno out there looking to spruce up your weapons. Good times. Anyways, that brings us up to date for the basic news for another week. Enjoy the holidays if you're having any, and we'll be back next week. But of course, keep an eye out for podcast episode 40, which will come out later this weekend, and will cover much of what we've already talked about here in greater detail. Thanks for watching. See you next week.